Man, look at this. When was the last time that you've used paper? Well, I know some people do, but for me personally, it's been a couple years because I went home and I don't have a printer that can print 11 by 17 or 42 by 30, like the full size drawing. The best my printer can do is these 8.5 by 11s, and I just can't read drawings from them. With this new normal, I realized that Bluebeam has so much more capabilities than I ever thought possible. I used to just use it for marking up and like just drawing lines and putting text in, but turns out there's so much more tools to it, like, measuring tools, snapshot, erase tool, editing text, or comparing documents. So over the course of the year or so that I've been forced to use it, I've learned so much that I want to share with you guys. All right, so today let's go play with Bluebeam. All right, so when you open up Bluebeam, it's a dark interface and it's pretty simple to understand. You have your ribbon across the top, you have some basic tools across the left, down the left side, and then you can put in other tools along the right side. But before we even get started, there's a couple things that I've been tweaking on the Bluebeam administration window, and that really helps with plotting stuff and making sure Bluebeam doesn't get in my way. So the easiest way to get to this administration window is to press the window key and type in Bluebeam admin. All right, so there you go. See, Bluebeam Administrator 2019. All right, so if we open this up, there's a couple things in here that you can turn on and off to your liking. If we go over to the printer section, one thing that I decided to turn off right away was to not prompt for file name. If I were to print individual files out of Revit, I don't want every single one of those files to ask me for a file name. I just turn it off. I put it all in the documents and then I'll grab it from there. The other thing that I wanted to turn off was open in viewer, because again, if I'm plotting 15 drawings, I don't want to open all 15 of them as I'm plotting because it really slows everything down. So I turn both of these options off, prompt for file name and open in viewer, just turn it off. Then over here, this printer monitor status thing, it's good to check over here if you're having problems with your PDF not printing out of Revit. Sometimes it'll just say not responding or there's blank. That's when you want to hit restart. If it says not responding, I think you have to hit stop first and then it'll blank out and then you hit restart. But if there's nothing in here, that means Bluebeam is not running in the background and that add-on is not able to plot out of Revit. So you come into this window and you hit restart to get it going again. All right. So then the other page, AutoCAD page sizes, this is where it lists all the available page sizes that you can PDF into. There's a ton in here, and I never use these ISO file size, it's in millimeters. So if I were to work in an overseas project, sure, I might need to use that, but 99% of the time I never touch them, and they kind of clutter up my page size list. So I can actually uncheck them to take them out of there, and it just helps clean up the process a little bit. So uncheck the stuff you don't need. With the page sizes that I want, hit apply, okay, and then that should actually streamline your Bluebeam workflow a little bit. All right, so now we have Bluebeam set up. Let's go ahead and make a PDF right from Revit. Alrighty, so in here we have 4 sheets set up: the riser diagram, lighting plan, north level 1, whatever that is, and then panel schedules. So let's go ahead and print these. You can go over here to File and then hit Print if you wanted to, or I just always hit Control P and that just brings it up. So in this window, you can print in one of 2 ways. You can do a combined PDF set, which strings everything together, or you can print individual files. For my company, our standard is to do individual files and combine, so sometimes it gets a little annoying, but here's how I do it. First of all, I go over here and I set up my print list. So that way I don't have to select every single file every time. I would go over here, I hit select, and then this is all the available views and sheets in this project. I never print just a view, I always print sheets. So first I check none. So I click this, make sure everything's cleared out. Then I go over here to views, uncheck that, and there we go. I only have 4 drawings, that's all I want. So we're gonna go click 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can hit save as. So this is, let's just call this 30% owner review issue. It's, that's our issue going out, and hit OK. Now, every time I need to print the set, I can just hit this drop down and there it goes. It has all my drawings selected. Let's say, I want to save a set that's something different. Just save as, I don't know, something else, just BOD. And then that'll be there. So I can flip over to this and it grabs all the sheets. So I hit OK, make sure that says 30% ORI. And then this is the part where you can decide, do you want a single file or do you want multiple files? Just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to click single files because then I can show you how to string them together if you were to need to bind a PDF. So let's click separate files, and then Bluebeam, I mean, this is pretty standard printing. You got your Bluebeam, pick your size, color, etc. Okay, so let's just hit print. Now that I've turned off, actually, let's hit print. Yes. Okay. So you can see that it's just doing its thing, it's printing, and it's not asking me for file size because I turned that thing off. Instead, it's just going ahead and dropping everything inside of my documents folder, and it's converting all of that stuff to the PDF and just keeping it closed. It doesn't pop up a sheet every time it makes a PDF. Okay, so now it's done. If we flip over to document, you can see these 4 files sitting here nice and tidy. If we grab all 4 files, click the first one, hold shift, click the last one, and then right click, you can see that you can combine files in Review. So combine files, and there's this nice little window that you can reorganize it if you want to. You can drag this way out here to be able to see your sheet name. So let's say you want it North Level 1 up higher. You can click this, organize your sheets, and then over here in output file, just give it a combined name. And I usually like to pick source file. So wherever I'm sitting right now, it'll combine it, put it back in. So the stapler is an awesome way to just combine PDFs together without having to open them. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And then it opens up this window, which you have to confirm again. So hit staple, and there you go. I have a combined folder. So let's open up this combined folder. All right, so now here's your 4 PDFs within one file. If you look over here, you can see it says 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's not very descriptive. If you have, like, say you have 100 sheets to go through, you would like to be able to navigate this a little easier. So there is a tool over here. It's a bookmark tab. So if you click on that, oh, look at that. This one's already made. This one, it says 101. It actually gives you the riser diagram, North Level 1 and 201. But let's say this doesn't exist. Let's delete this. Okay. So now that you have the bookmarks cleared out, let's try to add the bookmarks. But let's go one step further, and instead of doing just bookmarks here, let's do 2 steps at once. You see how it just says 1, 2, 3, and 4? Now these are labels. So if we make a label here, we can flip over and then just pull the labels in as bookmarks, and then they're done both ways. The advantage of making labels here is that if you want to extract pages later, you can use the label on the page to name the file of this extracted PDF. And this is fairly simple. If you click on any sheet, go up here to document, there's a thing called create page labels. Here it is, create page labels. And then we can use, instead of bookmarks, because we didn't make the bookmark yet, let's do page region, hit select, and then let's start with the drawing number. So let's draw a box around here. Come on, there we go. And it'll give you an example of what it reads off of the drawing. So it says region 1, it reads E101. Perfect. Let's add space, tab, space. And then let's put the drawing name on here. Drawing name is in this box. So let go. And region 1 dash region 2 says E101 dash riser diagram. Perfect. So let's hit OK and make sure that it applies to all pages. If you press OK, it's going to create that for all the pages. So there you go. You can easily read whatever this PDF is supposed to be. Sometimes if you have like 100-page drawing, sometimes the thumbnails may not generate fast enough or never. So that you at least have text to be able to know where the heck you are in your document. Okay, so now that you have the labels made, let's go ahead and use this bookmark tab to create the bookmarks. This is even easier because then all the titles are just in a nice little line. So it's very simple. Create bookmarks, and if you didn't make the labels before, you can you can go ahead and pick regions and do that whole thing again. But now that we created it, let's use page labels. So hit OK, and bam, there you go. We have riser diagram, north level 1, lighting plan, and schedule. Very easy. So now with that created, it's much easier to navigate this this whole entire document. Okay, so now that you have your labels created, let's say, for example, when you print it from Revit, you print it as a single file, but now you need individual ones. So over here, let's pretend like all of this doesn't exist. Hit delete, and that's it. So we have the combined file, and let's extract individual pages and put them in this list. So pretty simple. Select the pages you want to do, or if you want to select all of them, just do Control A. Then you right click on that, and you'll see that you can extract pages. So let's click on that and extract page as separate files. That's useful if you're supposed to have a separate file per drawing. And then you can use page labels to name the files. Perfect. Let's not open that. And then yeah, that all works. You can also pick all pages here. So let's hit OK. So let's go over here to document and just save that in here. And there it goes. Now, if we flip over to my documents, you can see that we now have a list of drawings that uses the drawing names as your file name. That's another way that you can get individual files out of your project using Bluebeam. You can make create a combined one, put labels in it, and then extract your pages from that. Or you can just print single pages right from Revit. They both work too. All right, now let's move on to measuring. With a piece of paper, if I know the scale, like the size of the drawing, if it's a full 30 by 42 inch drawing, 1/8 of an inch equals a foot, that's pretty easy to measure. But let's put it in PDF world, and you can't really take a scale to your screen. So you have to measure inside of the PDF. But before you do that, you have to make sure you calibrate your measuring tool. Let's use this floor plan, for example. If we go down here to look at this drawing title, you can see that this is 1/8 scale. 1/8 inch equals 1 feet, so 1 foot. So if we were to measure 1/8 of an inch on this PDF, it should equal 1 foot. So let's do that. If you go over here to this length tool, you can also use under tools, there's measure, so you can go under here too. So if we click on that, we have to click, I don't know, I guess 2 spots if we wanted to measure this tile, for example. It'll ask me to calibrate or input my known measurement. So since I know that this is 1/8 inch, let's just go ahead and click on that. Under presets, if we do a drop down, you can see that there's an 1/8 inch available. Precision, 1/4 inch is sufficient for me. Sometimes, you know what, maybe I'll do precision is 1 inch. And then page range, let's do all pages. Apply to, actually, no, not true. It can change. So let's just keep it on current page. If it was all the same floor plan, like everything was 1/8 scale, it would be really simple, because then you can apply the scale, and then down here, it'll tell you what the scale of this drawing is. If I were to like jump to another drawing, you can see that scale's not set. So let's go back here. This is apparently 1 foot 8 inches. And let's see, if I measured, here's one. So if I measure this door, I believe it's like, it looks like it's measuring here to here. There we go. That's a good way to figure out to make sure that your scale's right. If you have a known dimension on there, you can even use that. So let's say, for example, we were to calibrate this, and like, you know, we didn't know what the scale was. It maybe got scanned in, and it could be anything. So with the calibrate tool, set a scale, known dimension. Oh yeah, see, that's exactly what it is. So if you were to click on point to point, and then it'll tell you exactly what it measured, and it wants to know what this distance is supposed to be. So here you can enter in 6 feet 6 inches, then hit apply scale, and it should bring you right back to here. So now with it calibrated, we can measure again, and you can see that it indeed does come out to 6 foot 6 inches. So there's 2 things you can do. You can set it as you can set it at 1/8 scale if you know the scale, or you can calibrate it with a known dimension on the drawing. Unfortunately, this drawing I don't think has a scale. Yeah, there's no graphic scale. That's why I like to put graphic scale in my title block, because then if for some reason someone printed this on like a 8.5 by 11, I can still scale it off of this to figure out what the scale on the drawing is supposed to be. That's how you do the calibration, and then you can measure linear distances like that. Once you have the scale set though, you can use all kinds of stuff. You can do area, like I think it's pretty simple. You can snap to 4 corners like that. I kind of missed a little bit, but if I hit enter, 473 square feet. Okay, so that's how you find your area. Let's say, what's this other tool we have? I use this a lot, poly length. What I would like to know a lot of time is the total distance from like the electrical room to your furthest circuit. So let's just say, for example, I don't know, this is your electrical room. You come out here, you go down the hallway, and you try to feed this classroom way over here. So click all the way down, get to the end, and hit OK. So this last number over here is your total run length. So 336 feet. I'm not running 120 volts here. That's way too far. 480, sure. But basically it tells me I need another electrical room down here somewhere. But that's a very useful tool. Another one I use quite often is this, here it is, count. So this quite accurately counts how many fixtures you have. Let's pretend these are light fixtures, even though these are diffusers. So if you click on each one of these, it puts a check mark over it, and it keeps going until you hit enter. Or I think, yeah, if you hit enter, and then I think it counts as another one, I'm pretty sure. Okay, and then hit enter, then escape. If you were to go down here to markups, you can see that our count has 2 separate line items. So here was the first batch. You can see like which one it selected. Yeah, let's change this color to, I don't know, blue or something, make it a little easier. So you can see that this count has 15 fixtures here, and then this red one down here, these are 6. That's super useful to if you're doing takeoffs and you just want to count light fixtures without having to mentally count in your head. You can just click, 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 and then it'll give you the total sum. So that counting tool is a great way to count something without, spraining your brain. Another thing is when you're done counting, I actually like to select this and lock it so that I can't accidentally click it and move it anywhere. You can lock anything in here. So if you wanted to lock all your measurements without flattening it, just hit lock and you can't, oh, I did it wrong. Select all your things, hit lock. Okay, now they won't move. I think I unlocked it. There we go. So this is different from flattening because when you flatten it, you can never move it. But when you lock it, it keeps it in place and then you can unlock it to move it around. But let's say you do want to flatten something and make it permanently part of the PDF. It's pretty simple to do that as well. So let's say I want all these blue check marks to be flattened. I can click this to select all the blue check marks. Then if I go up here to document, the almost second to last bottom, you can find the flatten tool. So if you click on flatten, there's a couple things that you can select or unselect to account for the things that you want or exclude certain things. Since I just want the blue check marks, I don't want all markups. I want to have currently selected markups and then hit flatten. Now you can see that it jumps off of the screen. It's no longer part of our markup. It's now part of the PDF. So if I were to try to click in here, I can't pick it at all. It's part of the document and that's it. Even though you see this unflatten tool, I haven't had any luck with it. Like I can click it and you can see it doesn't do anything. Once you flatten it, it's part of the document and that's it. So I generally don't do that. I lock it and then in the way end, for some reason, if I need to flatten it, I'll flatten it. While I have this up here, this markup list, it's usually hidden on the bottom. So the bottom left, if you were to click that, brings up all the markups that you've put on this PDF document. All right, so with this markup window open, one thing that I like to do a lot with this list is that it helps me keep track of what I've completed and what I did not. So let's say, for example, I don't know, I want to take this and I want to move this, here. This markup is now an action item. I can actually right click on this, and then when I finish it, set the status as complete. Then it'll tell you who completed it on what day and exactly what time. It's a little late today. But with that status there, I can actually filter this now. So over here under filter, I can do this custom, and status does not equal complete. If I hit OK, then you can see that with this filter on, it takes away the stuff that's completed and it actually kind of grays this out. So with that grayed out, I know that I've completed that and I can focus my attention on the next markup. So by the end of the day, I can, do this where it's just set to complete. And then I know that these are the 3 items these are the 3 items left for me for tomorrow to work on. All right. So let's jump over here to, the panel schedule. Something that I've used a lot to edit text on a PDF is actually not hidden. It's inside of this edit window under PDF content, and there's this edit text tool. So with that selected, you can actually change the text right on here just by typing into the PDF. So let's say instead of this type 1, I want to do NEMA 3R. There you go. I have this, and then I think I have to hit escape. Yeah, hit escape to get out of it. So that's the text I actually want there. And unfortunately, when you do a change like that, it doesn't show up in the markup list. So I actually go ahead and do an R to cloud that. So that way my drafter or the next engineer knows to change that in the model. Sometimes I would actually just, instead of doing that, if I'm super lazy, I can do, instead of 4Y, I'll just be like 3, but sometimes that's a little bit messy, but at the same time, maybe that's easier to understand. So if I were to just, go over here to content, edit text, and then select this, and it's just that, I don't know. It kind of depends on you, how you want to mark something up. You can do it this way, or you can just type over it and then put a cloud around it. It's actually super useful if you're sending something out, you plot the entire set, and then you realize your title block, the one drawing has the wrong thing or it's missing something. You can actually type it right in here. So it's a little bit of a dirty way to do it. Make sure you always fix it in Revit, but you could, fix it in PDF just to get it out the door quicker. Something else up here. So if we hit edit, PDF content, snapshot content, actually, this is really cool because, let's click it. Snapshot content here, you can take his entire panel schedule and paste it right here. Paste. So this is now an entirely separate instance of this image up here. You can see that it's actually transparent background, which is super nice. You can make it non-transparent by putting a border on or a background on it. So now it covers this. So I just took a snapshot of that, but you notice that it didn't pick up any of these markups. If you were to go under PDF if you were just to click snapshot here, so if you did the snapshot using the regular tool and paste, you can see that it picks up the markup in that snapshot. It's literally like a picture of the entire thing. But if you were to go under a little bit, PDF content, snapshot content, you can see that it avoids the markups. See, it doesn't pick up the markups. So depending on what you want to do, you can do one or the other. Sometimes I would do it for options. I would sketch something up in this room, but then somebody wants to say, hey, what if we do this different option? And I'm like, crap, all my markups there. So I would use snapshot content, and it would just grab the background. Then I have another background that I can mark up too. So then I could be like, here's option 1 and option 2. So it's a great use for that scenario. So if we keep drilling down in here, there's edit, PDF content, there's cut content, which is essentially, you just take this and it's gone. And you can, get rid of stuff pretty easily. I used to do this thing where I would draw a rectangle, and then I would take this rectangle and I would do a white fill and then a white line, and then that's my cut. But then if you click it and move it, it's still there. So the cut tool is actually super nice just to remove something. Erase content, actually, I think erase is just getting rid of it. If you were to cut, you can paste it. So here, let's do this. Cut this, and then yeah, see, that's the difference. Sorry. Sometimes I cut it and I just, I treat cut like erase, which maybe is not the right way to do it. But cut, you can move it and then it leaves a clean background. Actually, one of the uses for me was to reorganize panel schedules. So if I were just wanted to swap these two, if we go over here to cut like this and then paste, this now becomes a flexible thing that I can move around. So same thing here. PDF content, cut this, and now I can reorganize this however I want. Yeah, you stack this over here. Oh, here's a little side question. What side of the drawing do you put anything on? Like if you had a blank drawing and you had to put one thing, do you slap it right in the middle or bias it to the right or to the left? So my answer has always been kind of the right side for everything, because when you have a drawing set, it's usually bound on the one side. And then when you open it, oh, terrible example. See, this is why I use PDFs. But when you open it, this stuff over here ends up in the seam. So I always like to push everything to the right side. If I have my panel schedules on this side, it's a little easier to read than if it was on the left side. But nowadays, I don't know, do people even print PDFs anymore? Maybe this is archaic. But anyways, so like I have a tendency to put my panel schedules on the right-hand side for that reason. All right, so now that I've made some changes to it, let's pretend like this is a whole new document. I'm gonna go ahead and save as. Okay, and then over here, I'm gonna say, you know, edited, save. And then with that, let's flatten this document so that all the markups are now part of the PDF. And now these panel schedules are, you know, on the right-hand side. All right, so there's a pretty powerful tool in Bluebeam that compares PDFs for you and it can like cloud stuff that is different. So if we were to go up here into document, and there's a compare document right here, click on that. Document A is whatever I have open it right now, is whatever I have opened right now. And document B, you know, let's select that, go over here to our original, hit open, and we want to make sure that has the same number of pages. The output would be here, manual alignment. Nah, it's fine. I'm going to use the option, the auto turn on, then turn on dimmer, advance. You can tweak stuff in here like the different colors and everything, but I'm just going to leave everything as is. So you hit OK. It's going to compare the documents and spit out a third document that has the difference between the two. All right, so there we go. It created a combined diff too. So with the two side by side, we can actually go over here to synchronize document. And I believe if I were to, yeah, see if I move it around, it actually, you know, moves both sides of them. So let's go over here to this page that I changed. You can see over here that this was marked up. Oh yeah, see. So I have markups. The change is here that I have markups on. There's a line down the center. Here is the square footage and all the areas that have changes. It's pretty accurate. Like I can't miss a thing. You can see over here, there's nothing changing. But then if I were to go over here to the panel schedule, look at that. That's the new area where the panels are. It's a really cool tool that it uses the computer to analyze PDFs for you and just kind of focuses your attention on the things that change. I mean, of course, you could just do synchronized view and use your eyeballs, but maybe you could miss a thing, especially if it's like really small. So the last tool that I use extensively in Bluebeam is Bluebeam Sessions. And essentially what this is, it's like a Google Doc for your PDF that you can invite multiple people into and work on the same document. This is kind of my favorite way to give markups. I would share a document, or I would share a PDF set of drawings with my team, and I would be in there adding in markups, and my team would be on the back end picking up these markups and changing the statuses to complete. Then I know like how much work they have left, and they can start working on the markup before I'm finished with it. Sometimes like I might put a note that says, you know, ignore this sheet until I think about it through, but they can work on any other sheet without me having to send it to them and they send it back. So let me show you how this works. So over here on the bottom, you can see that it says Studio. If you click that, we're going to hit Add New Session. And then over here in the session name, let's just do TED Demo. And the important bit is to allow everyone to add documents. Then add Open File. Yeah, sure, save the file. Okay, there we go. I just added the file I had open. Then if you hit OK, it creates a session and puts the document inside of it. Then there we go. Okay, look at that. It sets everything up for you. All right, so this is pretty simple. You send the invitation, they get the invitation, and they join your session. So once they join the session, you'll see that under attendees, their name will appear. And it's really useful because they can you can see exactly what page you're looking at. So if I were to click on this document, and if let's say I scroll down to, I don't know, E301, and I come back here, you can see exactly what page I'm looking at. So it gives you a good idea of the progress, or where somebody's working, and you can collaborate in that area. If you were to just click on that, well, it's not going to work here. But if someone else was on a different page and you just click on that, it'll jump exactly to that document, to that exact page that they're looking at. So again, now that you're inside a session, the markup window still works. So if I were to grab this markup and I were to hit complete it, it now shows who completed what at what time. The only downside though is that if you did markups before bringing it into session, they're blocked. Like you can't actually go in here and unlock it. It's permanently there. So if I were to try to go through here and try to delete this, you can see that it's not going anywhere. I can't delete this. I can't unlock it. It's just set in place. So if you don't want a markup to be permanent, make sure it's not on the PDF before you upload it. There's a couple other downsides to this too. Putting it on sessions does not allow you to adjust how many pages there are. So you can't duplicate pages, you can only extract. You see, this is the only available list of things that you can do to a sheet. So make sure that you have the document put together how you want it with all the pages you need. You cannot even rotate a page in here. So the only way that you can rotate anything is if you were to just rotate the view. So if you did, pretty sure, yeah, you can rotate view clockwise like this. However, I think if you were to type something, yeah, see, if you were to type something, it keeps going in the other way. So it's super annoying. Make sure you have the document rotated correctly, have all your pages in the right order, and then put it on sessions. Because once it's up there, it's kind of locked. So let me rotate this back. Oh, the hotkey for that is Control Shift and then plus or minus button. You can, come on, there, plus or minus button. You can flip a document like that. Don't do that if you want to like actually turn the document. So Control Shift plus or minus is the same thing as going over here to view and rotating your view. So essentially that's like, it's like you standing on the other side of the table. You didn't actually take the document and flip it. You just moved yourself. So you're putting yourself in a different view. If you want to actually rotate a PDF, you need to right click on it and hit rotate pages. So when you rotate the pages, if I were to do that under this font, yeah, this is not in sessions. So if I were to rotate this page, then I can do, 180 degrees. There, I just flipped it. So that actually rotated the pages instead of rotating your view. But yeah, I think that's about covers most of it. Some of the quick commands, like I use T for text, A for arrows, Q for a leader with a text, and then you can also right click on that to add leaders. I think K is cloud with a text, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess R for rectangle. I think between these markups, I can get through a drawing set pretty darn quickly. The tools are all found in here. So under markups, I just kind of memorize the hotkeys and these are the ones that I use most. All right, so I think I rambled on long enough. This is how I use Bluebeam most of my day. And if there's other tricks, let me know in the comments below, because I'm pretty sure I barely scratched the surface of what this program can do. Every day I'm learning something new. So if you have something that's pretty valuable, let us know in the comments below, and maybe I'll even pin your comment or something. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna go to bed now. It's past midnight. So all right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.